we begin rejoicing that there's one topic we'll never have to talk about again, and that is the social justice movement. It doesn't exist. I'm so thankful that Thabiti Anyabwile has demonstrated for us on his blog just today that there is no evangelical social justice movement. So all the videos that you've seen, the preaching and teaching and all that intersectionality and critical theory stuff, irrelevant. It's not there. It is it's as move along. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. No, as Josh Buice said when he responded to it on Twitter, hashtag eyes wide shut. That's what you've got here. But yeah, this is what he said. To be honest, the anti-social justice side. So now it's the anti-social justice side. So this seems to be the new thing. Is it's always good to identify a side as anti-something that sounds good. That helps to marginalize them. You see. So the anti-social justice side bears many more markings of a movement than anything or anyone they criticize among Christians. They have produced a statement and written a good number of posts expositing the statement. They have called others to join their cause by signing the statement. They have held conferences and meetings expounding their concerns and goals. They've spawned hours of podcasts and sermon series. They've developed their own lexicon replete with pejoratives and hashtags to mark out their perspective and the people who share it. They've sometimes sought to bring pressure on people and institutions. That is a movement, but it's a movement built on conspiracy theories rather than compelling evidence. So everything you've seen there, folks, when you hear people, there's a video popped up over the weekend of a black woman preaching, teaching, doing something in a church. She's up front, messing with the doctrine of original sin, as if federal headship in Romans 5 can be transferred wholesale to nations. So you have the original sin of America now. That's just supposed to be taken as a theological parallel. All of the critical theory, intersectionality, everything that comes with that, all of the identification of people as racists, if they disagree with you about anything, it doesn't exist. That's not amongst evangelicals. There's just no evidence of it at all. That's what we're being told. As he says, there is no evangelical social justice movement. So there you go. It's so we don't have to worry about it anymore. And as soon as he tweeted that, then of course Kyle James Howard jumped in and was in full agreement. The funny thing was, he had not long ago, I think this was yesterday. No, 27th of August. 27th of August. This was a few days ago. 27th of August. Had written a thread that I wanted to look at just briefly. There's much more important things to get to. I realize that. But so today he's saying there's no social justice movement. No, then on August 27th, Reformed Baptist evangelicalism. Now remember, a certain fellow at King's College also really detests Reformed Baptists. And there's, talk about broad brushing. But Reformed Baptist evangelicalism has an insecurity problem. Now, just think with me for a moment. How can you even defend yourself against this kind of rhetoric? A multitude of men in culture are profoundly insecure. Projection. And find a sense of self-confidence in imagining themselves as, all caps, defenders of the faith. So they mask their insecurities by attacking other men and even women online. Oh, what terrible people. We don't want to talk about this, though. We don't want to talk about the cognitive dissonance within tradition as men obsess over masculinity despite embodying a version of it that their own movement would call cowardice. Real men protect women, but attack them in online blog posts. I think that has something to do with pointing out that Beth Moore has edited her books and removed stuff on homosexuality and won't explain it. But anyway, at least not meaningfully. Then, here's another term. Oh, by the way, have you started catching some of the terms here? So we already have the masculinity thing coming in here. Now, hyper-complementarianism. Hyper-complementarianism. Have you ever heard this one before? You know, it's like when people go, well, you believe in all 5 points? That must make you a hyper-Calvinist. So if you actually are a complementarian, then you're a hyper-complementarian, so that people who actually aren't complementarian can call themselves soft complementarians, which is another way of saying egalitarians. It's 1984 all over the place. It's just play with the words. Don't worry about what they mean. Just play with the words. Play with the words. Hyper-complementarianism massages the egos of such insecure men. Men who are not confident of their own identity and masculinity need to feel superior to someone. Why not women? So entire theologies are created to give men power to abuse and be puffed up. So there you go. There's hyper-complementarity. He even links to one of his own articles. Nothing like citing yourself. Hyper-complementarity and domestic abuse. There you go. There is a reason why the same crowd that embraces hyper-complementarianism is also the crowd that is antagonistic towards saints of color who speak against racism. Toni Morrison both spoke about the pathology of racism. It comforts profound insecurity. If you want ethnic reconciliation and ethnic harmony within evangelicalism, you're going to have to deal with the pathological insecurities of many evangelical men. Talk about just throwing the paint out there and don't matter where it splatters. If you want to end misogyny in evangelical spaces, remember, this is the same guy retweeting the Beatty saying, there is no ecumenical social justice movement. And his whole thread is filled with terms like misogyny, and he's basing all this stuff on intersectionality and critical theory. He doesn't even realize it. He can't even separate himself from it. It's amazing. If you want to end misogyny in evangelical spaces, you'll have to deal with it as well, but no one is talking about it. Well, there's a reason why no one is talking about Kyle J. Howard's ranting and raving. But there you go. So we won't have to talk about this anymore. It's done. There is no evangelical social justice movement, at least until the next time they pop up.
I have grown up with this invisible kind of bag of privilege.
Many often chose to serve Jim Crow and to rename him Jesus Christ.
Manifestations of those claims of white racial superiority continue.
Deliberately started following and reading works of far more fellow Christians of color, and my world and my heart has just exploded. I'm so thankful.
To understand and empathize with transgender persons and to see them as all of us are.
Donald Trump fails the baseline test of character. Can we put up with someone and can we offer them our vote and support when we know that that person not only sounds like what he presumes and presents as a playboy, but it's a sexual predator?
I think the question to us as church leaders, have you drawn the gay and lesbian community close? Stand up and be among the fiercest advocates for the preservation of the dignity and the rights of LGBT people.
And because of the lenses in which we wear and how we've been shaped by this invisible force, we tend to expect, why can't they just? Why won't they? And what we're saying in that moment is we're harshly judging, and we're expecting, if they would just look like us.